Okay, we are live. Good afternoon. I am coming to you on a Freedom Friday. I love it. I just like to think of my Fridays as days of freedom, and because and sometimes for fun that I do with my kids. But we've been having a lot of conversations, and one of the conversations is money. And where we're at with our finances and how we all deserve abundance in our life and how we all want abundance, but how do we get there? And I think sometimes that we can all want abundance or we all want a lot more money, but we may not know how to make the money, or we're trying and we're doing some of the wrong things. Or there's secrets that we're thinking, how's that person doing? And we just don't know how. So today I am bringing on Victoria with me, and we are going to talk about money. And she's a financial money coach. And Victoria Sexton helps women make their money effortlessly. I just love the sounds of that. So she can help you stop stressing and start making strides toward your goals. She provides her clients with straight talk financial coaching, education, and strategies that give you the confidence to embrace your abundance and take control of your financial future. Victoria is a financial coach. She believes in abundance, gratitude, and investing in yourself. And so today I'm just excited. Victoria and I we're in a coaching group together about speaking. We're both learning how to be better speakers and just really wanting to collaborate. And I loved what her message was, right? So I wanted to just bring you on. So where are you at in the world, Victoria?
So I'm in California. I'm in a teeny tiny town called Paso Robles that nobody's ever heard of. And it's halfway between San Francisco and LA. So I'm enjoying the really nice weather today. It's like 75. Sorry, folks.
That's a little rainy here in Oregon, but that's okay. You know what? So this is the fun part, is just being able to connect. So I loved when we were just talking about how could we, I always like to get to know people. And so as we were talking, you shared that you learned how to do something very early on that your dad taught you. What was that?
Yeah, so my dad taught me how to trade stocks. He taught me how the market works. And I think that really this all grew out of him not knowing a girl, because like boys and girls are very different. And so I have an older brother. And so he just, taught me the things that he knew, which was about money, business, investing. So like I was the world's only 16-year-old reading the Wall Street Journal with my dad, like talking about which stocks we would pick on Saturday mornings. And it made me an extremely popular teenager, so you can imagine.
Well, but I mean, I just kind of love that, like, because as parents, or like, what a gift that your dad taught you that at such a young age, right? And that we have such impact and influence about those in our life. And what a blessing that your dad took that time. But yeah, I'm sure there wasn't a lot of kids your age talking about reading the Wall Street Journal.
No, I joke about it, but I have to say that education was the biggest gift that he ever gave me, because I had the confidence to do things like, research stocks and figure out if I'm going to invest or not. And also the confidence to have financial discussions with financial professionals. So I think we as women think that, financial professionals are really fancy and sometimes we're afraid to ask questions. And so no matter where I was in terms of my journey to wealth, like I could ask questions, do it in an educated manner. So I found that was super helpful for me.
Yeah. Well, and I like that. And one thing why I thought was really interesting, and I wanted to share that, is back when I was in my 20s and I was working for Enron, I was learning how to trade stock at that point. So it's really interesting when you're looking at and doing all that. So I thought that was really interesting. And I loved that your dad had taught you that at an early age. But also I love that you learned to talk about money from an early age, right? Because a lot of people are like, don't talk about it, or it's none of your business. Or, a lot of parents didn't really talk to their kids about money. And I would say that for me, like sometimes I would hear my parents talking and I might say something. My dad he would tell me, it's none of your business. So I think that that's interesting on the
Mm.
difference of how, you know, we, we, we both want to be abundant, and maybe I grew up from this way and you grew up from let's talk about it, right? So I think there's people on both sides of the street. So I love that because our mindset is what gets us there, but sometimes we have to have those mindset shifts, right? Or also to even think about like, what kind of money blueprint do we want to leave for our children, right? So I talk about my kids all the time about money, and I tell them stuff just because of the mindset shifts that I came over. Not good or bad, just how we're raised, right? And what kind of legacy do you want to leave? So you talk about making money effortlessly, and I'm wondering what are some of the things or shifts that you could give tips that you could give our listeners today?
So I would say like there's probably two realms that we could go. Like there's
Okay.
when you're talking about money, there's two sides of the equation. Like there's income and there's expenses.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that, and like you can find on my husband and we bought a money pit when we lived in Seattle a little while ago and bought this money pit, and the house was like bleeding us dry. We spent in 5 years, and my husband and I both had corporate jobs. We spent $70,000 in repairs on this house. And that's unexpected repairs. And we really had to regroup financially. So I would say that as you're looking at your money, you need to look at both sides of the equation, the income side and the expenses side. Because sometimes people are clipping coupons and you can't clip enough coupons, right? What you need is
Right.
more income.
Yeah.
And so, right, sometimes you just need more money. So I encourage my clients to leverage your gifts are your gifts in a way that you have multiple revenue streams going. So, and use that in terms of getting some momentum towards your goals. Because, like, let's say you have a salary, like I don't know, you're an engineer and you have a salary, you have a 9 to 5, but could you also bring in additional money, tutoring on the side or whatever it is that lights you up that you get excited about, and ways that you hadn't even thought of that you would do something even if you didn't get paid for it, but you should get paid for it. So I like to start there, just looking
Mhm.
at the overall picture of what today is, because we can't talk about the future unless we know what is happening today.
Exactly. Exactly. Which is really true, right? You got to take what is our current situation, right? So I love that. So thank you, because sometimes I think we have blinders on and we'll just look at one side, but we're really not looking at the other side, right? Or people can be. Okay, so I loved another thing that you said, that you help people embrace the confidence to have their abundance. So what's your mindset, or how do you talk to your clients about that?
So I'll admit to you, I'm a little woo woo. I'm a lot spiritual. Like I was just, everyone's on this have gifts that
Mhm.
they should share with the world. So um, I really think that as we're talking about your gifts and what you should be doing in the world, that you can use those to make money. And that's not a bad thing. And that's, have a gift and you're good at something, you should use it. Why not? But I do think that there's a big fallacy with money that, money is, maybe it's bad to want more money, or that money is evil or whatever. But here's the truth, is that you and I, we as women, we do, we take care of everybody in our lives first, right? Our kids come first. Maybe you have an aging parent, they come first. And we take our community access to more wealth, everyone around us would benefit. And so I think that when people are trying to make more money, you need to understand why you want to make more money, and also understand that like there's a lot that, like, when we say abundance, there's a lot there. um and I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty, but I
You're
have found in
right.
my own life that I'm like praying and asking God for more money, and really asking that of the universe, and not getting it, which is really frustrating. And finding that like my fear, my hesitation, um, is blocking it. Like, you can block your own abundance at like
You sure
all day, every
can.
day, and not realize, right? I mean, I think we've all experienced that at some point in time.
Yeah. Well, and I love that. I mean, here's the thing, like you can't get into everything, but we're just really talking about like we're opening the conversation up today because some people just really don't talk about it, right? And so I think sometimes I am a disruptor because people don't like about talk about
Mm.
sex, people don't like to talk about money, and a lot of times people don't like to talk about religion. And I'm having the conversation about money because we all deserve abundance and we can do more when we have more money. We can do more good when we have more money. Second of all, I talk about sex because I have a nonprofit that helps survivors of human trafficking and domestic violence, right? I'm big about talking about what are your goals. And I talk about religion because I talk about God-sized goals. So when you just as you're there, you're talking about abundance. I'm going to just let you guys know there's this verse that's really it's from Second Corinthians 9:8. It says, "And God is about to bless you abundantly, so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work." And I think that's the thing that I love is that no matter where you're at, you can look in God's word and you can find something that you need. And I think we need to be equipped to do what He's called us to do. And Victoria, you talk and you really help people become equipped to invest their money, to create different, to address their money and to make wise investments with your money. And so I liked how you talked about it. I think you kind of come with a well-rounded amount because the investing piece. A lot of people can tell you where to invest, but you may not know that side of it. And so I thought that was a really cool thing about you. And so that's why I was like, I really wanted to bring you on. So thank you for talking about that. And I think sometimes people are afraid to say like, God wants abundance for us, right? But He does, right? And He wants to
Mm.
equip us. So um
Yes.
so I also I wanted to see if maybe you had something. So because sometimes things can be out of control or feel out of control with our money, right? And you say that you help us. I know that you have a class and stuff coming up, so I'll let you tell us about that. But to you have help people take control. So what would you say are two take control tips that you would give people listening to this?
So I think that you need to find a way to, and you can call it center yourself, you can call it tune into God, you could call it pray, you could call it whatever you want. A
Hmm.
day, you need to take that time and make sure that you're following your gut and that you're paying attention to what is important in your life. I feel like we're on a treadmill all the time with our society. And like with COVID, like none of that's changed. Like we're just on a different treadmill a lot of the times. But
Yeah.
it's super important to tune in and to listen. And when you get that little, tingle in your gut, you're like, you have to pay attention because that's a sign
You
that
do.
that's like, even though that maybe sound that job opportunity, man, whatever it is, may sound great on paper, but it may not be good for you because you may have something better around the corner. So I think that that's really important to take time every day to tune in. And I would say the second thing is most of my clients, before we even get into the nitty gritty, what I found is because money is such a hot topic and because we just want to like shove it aside sometimes, that
We're having a little bit of a lag here, you guys. I apologize. But I love what she's saying. I love her message of what she says is that you got to listen to your gut. You got to know and be real with what your intuition is telling you. We lost you there for a minute, Victoria. Are you back?
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. So if
Um,
you want to finish that
yeah,
second tip,
so
that
the
would be
second
sorry.
second to just try to get more organized. I feel like we get I'm speaking like I say we, I do this too. Like I get really flustered if like a bill is here and then if something else is over there. Part of making your money effortless is to have a system that works for you. And so, like, my advice to people is even if you just have all of your junk in a shoebox, all of your financial documents in a shoebox, and you start there, you know it's in the all over the place. So I start putting all of your information so that it cuts down on the time that you may be spending looking for something or, running around trying to find that bill or a document, especially now that
Yeah.
tax season is upon us.
It is, and so that's a rule. And I've got a person that's going to come on and talk about taxes to give you guys some tax tips soon. But I love it. I think it's so what you're bringing to the table is so important. And if maybe you guys find yourself in a place where I'm uncomfortable talking about that, I hope that you can see that this is a conversation that Victoria grew up having. I don't think you can say anything or she hasn't heard things that are going to shock her. So I love that. And so tell me. I like to talk about books because I believe books can bring us a lot. Do you have what's your favorite money book? One or two, if you've got a favorite one. I've got one I'll share, but I'd like to hear what yours are.
So I think, so I'll tell you, Overcoming Under Earning by Barbara Stanny changed my life. And that was such a good book for me because it was the first time I made the connection to the habits that I have may not be the best for me. They may be what I inherited. And that may have worked for my parents, but maybe not for me. So, and then my second favorite book that I think if you're getting started on this whole money mindset thing is try Think and Grow Rich by
Oh, yeah.
Napoleon Hill. And
Yeah.
it's a little bit of I don't want to say it's a rough read, but it was written like 100 years ago. So you kind of have to keep that in mind that the verbiage is not exactly the way we talk now.
I hadn't heard of the first one, so that's a real good one. I always like to check out different things. I tell a lot of my clients about Profit First. That's a book that I tell a lot of people about getting their money straight with their business. And the other one I love is this is what I'm reading right now. I don't know if you've heard it. It's Power Your Profits by Susie Carter. This is a really good money book if you've not read that one. This is like it's I love this one. So this is I like to share because I think it's that mindset piece. But and we've got to kind of see it in a different way. And obviously, that's something that I had to overcome. I had to change my blueprint of my money story of how I was written, right? Because money is my business and I need to know it and I need to know my numbers for my business and I need to know that for my life. And I want my kids to know that. I want them to know how to save and I want to create a different legacy kind of thing. So sometimes we have to address the things and get comfortable talking about it. And there's a lot how Susie, she talks about that math is money is math and math is fun, right? Like, so you can you just have to know your numbers to make the money to have fun. And so you have to kind of think of it in a different way, right? And think about, kind of goes back to what you said in the very beginning is, why do you want to make more money? What is your story or where are you wanting to go kind of thing. So I think that was just lovely on that. So Victoria, I would love people to be able to get connected with you. So how do people connect with you and have this conversation on a more personal level for themselves?
Well, you can always go to victoriasexton.com. Free resources that I have there. I'm also, I have a couple different programs coming up. So you can reach out to me on Facebook. I'm on Facebook and Instagram under Victoria Sexton Financial Coach. And yeah, those are the best places to reach me, or email me directly at victoria@victoriasexton.com. Hardest email ever.
Well, and thank you. I appreciate it because so sometimes it's like we want to know something, but we don't know the resources, or we don't know where to go, or we think like, how did that person get there? Or that's for them and it's not for me, and that's not true, right? Sometimes we have to ask for the help. I love you say something else, and I think it's really, really true. And I'd like to talk about this just before we close, and that is that believing and investing in ourselves, right? Because I'm a coach, you're a coach. But what do you tell people about actually using their money to invest in themselves?
So there's this whole like energetic thing in relation to money. And this is kind of where I get a little woo. Most of the time, most of my clients are women. And as I'm talking with them, I find that they feel like it's okay to spend a majority of their money on their family, on their kids, but they don't spend the money on themselves. And so, especially if you are at point A and you want to get to point D or point Z or whatever with your money, sometimes you have to invest in yourself first so that you have the tools in your toolbox to get you there. So I find this of coaching. I find this of like a health and fitness coach or whatever it is that you need. Is sometimes we're reluctant to spend the money on ourselves, but really, you can't, it's like that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. So we have to make sure that we too invest in ourselves so that everyone else who we're taking care of, that they're taken care of too. But we have to do it for ourselves first.
Yeah. Well, it's really true. And I think, it's kind of like what they say, you got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you put on the other person. And that, even as a mom, I'm thinking, how do I do that first? Like I want to take care of my child first, like, but we have to be there to take care of them. And you're so right about that. And so, I know that I've invested a lot in coaching. And when you invest and you do the work, you get the results. So one of my new favorite quotes is, radical action creates radical results. And I'm ready. And, I'm looking for the radical results in my life. And so sometimes we got to get radical and we got to invest in ourselves, and we've just definitely got to do the work. So I want to just say to anybody that, if you've invested in something and you haven't done the work, get radical, do the work to get the results. And I encourage you to reach out to my friend, Victoria. I loved her heart. I love your vision of what you're doing, and I love that you have. And so, I believe in helping everybody, and I believe that abundance is out there for all of us. And so the power verse for today, again, is 2 Corinthians 9:8. I love it. This is my new verse. And it's that, and God is about to bless you abundantly. Who doesn't want to be if you want to be blessed abundantly, put a yes down below, because, that's what we all want. And I really want to encourage you that if you're listening to this, if anything that Victoria shared or that we talked about, please, share it with somebody. On Fridays, I'm talking about this freedom. What are the things that are setting us free? And so trying to bring different tools and resources to you. Check out one of those books. I'm definitely going to go get and read that book, tell me that book. Say that again. Overcoming under
Earning
and under earning. Yeah.
Overcoming under earning. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put some of those links down below. We'll put Victoria's link down below. We want to make it easy for you to connect with her. And I just want to say thanks, Victoria. Is there anything else that you'd like to add today?
I just wanted to thank you so much for having me on. And I just wanted to mention real fast. So, I love investing. I love sharing with people how they can leverage their money by investing. And so I have coming up in March an investing mastermind where I'm not doing it for you, but you're going to learn all the tools that you need to have those educated conversations and get started investing on your own. So we're going to get a little nerdy, but you're going to get all the have all the support you need to go forward.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today on Freedom Friday. I'm Melanie, your host, and I will see you again next week. Be blessed.